derivative of, let's say it's sine of x. What do you guys know? Derivative of sine of x is what? Cosine of x. Good. What's derivative of cosine of x is equal to, okay, so I'm gonna write down some c's here, c, and c, okay, and I'm gonna write down some negative sign here, negative, and the reason being is if derivative of anything will start with a c will always end up to be negative. So d to the dx of tan of x and d to the dx of secant of x, d to the dx, okay. So now I'm going to tell you derivative tangent of x is equal to secant square of x, and derivative secant of x is equal to secant of x tan of x. Now, can you tell me, according to the same pattern, what's derivative of cotangent of x? And what's derivative of cosecant of x, according to the same pattern?
Cotan of x,
Negative cosecant of what?
No, just negative cosecant.
There's something more.
Just square.
Square, yes. They are the same pattern. So do you see the pattern? Yes. Huh? Oh yes, my fault. Is that okay? What's the derivative of cosecant of x? Negative cosecant of x and then cotan of x. Does that make sense? Okay.
What exactly is the pattern?
So I will memorize this part. And I won't memorize the other part, because if I memorize this part, I can always get the other part. Okay? And you're going to be, that's a lot of memorization. My student come up a way in the past. It's not me. I'm just saying it's not me, okay? My student in the past come up a way to memorize this much easier, but I don't know. It might be not proper way to memorize something, especially for Mormons. So you might want to close your ears. Yes. So my student named Bobby Sina, if you met the guy, he's a great guy. He still teach my son. He's like, Mr. Yeah, I have this all memorized. And I say, okay, what do you mean by all memorized? He's like, well, only thing I have to memorize is derivative of tangent of x and derivative of secant of x. He's like, I can easily remember that. He's like, if you have 10, then you can have sex twice. And if you have sex, that means you have sexy 10. It's not for me, by the way. So don't get me canceled. It's for my student, but it's actually an easier way to see it.
Okay, really careful today, Mr.
Well, I already have a segregation video out there.
You don't come back anymore. Just expose yourself. You pioneered the video, and now you're live right now.
That's okay. So, do you guys get it? No? Okay. According to what he says, not what I say, okay? So, those difference. He said, well, if you have 10, that means you're going to have sex twice. If you have sex, that means you have sexy 10. That's what they come out to be. So hopefully that you remember that. I don't know. If you don't remember that, great. Oh well. Life's too short.
Is that good in your notes? Yeah.
He actually come up a different way to memorize this part, but that's more graphic than before, so I'm just gonna ignore that part.
Bro, what?
Why don't you just share it? It's
No,
not-
I cannot share it now. That part is too extensive. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure English class talk worse than me, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So what's derivative of how do I find the horizontal tangent of this part? Let's say tan of x minus 2x, right? How do I find horizontal tangent?
Derivative of both first.
How do you find horizontal tangent?
Find derivative and set it equal to 0.
Yeah. How do I find the derivative of this?
Excellent.
I didn't say it. What else?
-2.
Minus 2. Okay. So what do I do next?
Set equal to 0.
Set equal to 0. Good. And I'm going to solve for it. And then that's equal to 1 over cosine square of x, right? No, actually, I'm going to square root both sides. So that's going to be secant of x equal to plus minus square root 2. Don't forget about plus minus when you square root both sides. I've been reminding you since like day 1. And what is secant of x equal to? 1 over cosine of x, right? And that's equal to plus minus square root 2. And cosine of x equal to 1 over square root 2 plus minus. But 1 over square root 2 can rationalize. So that is going to be what? So you have to know your trig. When does x equal to square root 2 over 2? All the pi over 4s, right?
Yeah.
So there are 4 different situations that in horizontal tangent between 0 to 2 pi. Is that hard?
How do you?
It's just solving trig equation. We talked about how to solve a trig equation before.
How do you make radical too?
I rationalize.
No, like how does radical 2 become 1?
I rationalize that. Okay, let's also talk about their first derivative. Today's homework, you're gonna have to take second derivative. So the second derivative is gonna look like this. You just take a derivative twice. And the third derivative is gonna be 3 prime. And the fourth derivative, you're not gonna write down 4 prime, you're gonna write down 4 like this. That means fourth derivative. So that means you don't write down this, you're gonna write down fourth derivative of this. So this is second, this is the third, this is the fourth derivative. Okay, so on your homework today, you're gonna have that. So think about what's 73rd derivative of sine of x. It's actually on the AP exam before.